Oh, God, I hate those ties. I hate those kind of ties. All right, everyone, welcome back. American Blues Podcast. Let's talk about Chelsea, Brentford, 2-2 draw. I was I was already texting my wife, this is my fault, at like 92 minutes. I was like, okay, what an amazing comeback. We got this. And of course, what happens just a minute later? Long throw. Just bad defending. Bad defending. Not strong enough on the first ball. And once you lose that first ball, second ball, anything can happen. Unfortunately, Garnacho, which we'll get to, didn't exactly track his man. But I really blame it on that first ball. Like, you really, really need to get that first ball on any kind of corner or long ball situation. Otherwise, it just becomes an absolute shit show. And at the end of the day, like Maresca said afterwards, it was 2 points dropped. It definitely felt like we needed those 3 points. We should have gotten those 3 points. But Brentford, credit to them, they played really well. They figured out our biggest weakness, which is balls over the top to Tosin. If you do that and you have someone fast on him, man, we are screwed. But starting lineup, huge surprise. There's a lot of changes, which makes sense. Partly, a lot of our players just came back from South America. Really long flight. They all played over the international break. Caicedo still not fully fit, and he put in what an incredible performance. I'm convinced at this point that this guy just does not need to train, and we just use him for game days. Kind of like what we did with Eden Hazard. But yeah, really big surprise. We had Fofana in right back. I was a little bit surprised. No James and no Gusto. I wonder what's happened, especially to Gusto, why he didn't start this game. But sure, Fofana needed minutes. And then we had Hato, left back. That one made sense. Cucurella, big player for Spain, huge player for us. So we just can't be using him every single game. And I'd rather have him for Bayern Munich than this game. And then we have Brennanote as the 10, who was basically invisible. I think he had maybe an okay start, and then the rest of the time he was on, he was just doing absolutely nothing. And then I think it was maybe like a last minute change because Esteval got sick. Oh, sucks, because we really could have used someone like him to penetrate that Brentford defense. Like, we really, really could have used that dynamic runs that he can provide that really nobody else on the team can do right now. And then João Pedro started. Another huge surprise, no Mark Guiu, not even on the bench. And he's healthy and he's fit. And we called him back as backup to striker. So you can see how much Maresca trusts him. Last season, didn't even remember that he was a striker for the team. A bit embarrassing. This season, we call him back from his loan where he could have gotten game time in development to use him as our backup. And we don't even use him as our backup. We use Tyreek George, who I like. I like Tyreek George. I'm glad he stayed. I'm glad he's getting more game time. But clearly, Mark Guiu is going to be like the Carabao Cup only level of player. And I'm not even sure if Maresca trusts him for the Carabao Cup. So we'll see. But yeah, this does not bode well. This only means we are desperate to have Delap come back. In the meantime, we are incredibly dependent on João Pedro not getting injured. And that is a big ask, man. That is, we are placing a lot of risk on just one key player in the team. Because we're basically saying if he's not there, we got nothing else. But let's start off with the highlights first. Number one, shout out Sanchez. One of his best games I've seen. Huge saves. I think he made 3 really key saves or interceptions. I think it was like in the 60th minute or so. He had a really good, strong save. And then just a few minutes later, he came out and collected a ball where it was a certain goal if he didn't do that. And then at the end of the game, there was like at least 2 more. One in the near post where he got down really quickly and palmed the ball away. Another long throw where the ball just came out in front of him. Could have gone anywhere. Split second save. And he could already tell he was annoyed. He was looking at everybody like, stop. Like, we need to defend these long throws better. And of course, what happens just a few minutes later? Give up another goal from a long throw. Yeah, frustrating. Anyways, back to the good. The only other good thing that I can think of is Maresca made changes at the half because the first half was just dire. Like we were not doing anything besides getting the ball to Enzo, who actually did have a much better game. I think Enzo finally woke up to season. He got fit. His passing was on point. He wanted to move the ball, and he was kind of the only person that wanted to move the ball in the first half. Everything was going through him. Every time anybody else got the ball, it basically just came to a dead stop. And we just waited for Brentford to get settled, that is just not the way. Like if you're going to stand on the ball in defense and let Brentford get back in position, you better have the balls to actually make some line breaking passes, which our defenders did not do. And when they tried, it did not come off. But big on Maresca, major changes at the half. Gusto came on, James came on, and then eventually Palmer came on, and then George came on. But Palmer, man, you can see what a difference. He was someone that we could finally play a pass to in the middle. He could turn, move the ball up, constantly dangerous. He got his goal, which was a really nice set of plays. It was Enzo crossing into João Pedro, who got slightly lucky, but still got his head on the ball and cushioned into Palmer. Can't miss from, middle of the box. Great goal. And then he had another moment later on in the game where I think it was Pedro Neto had a big break on the right side from another really good Enzo pass. My God. And then Neto, perfect pass to Palmer in the center of the box. I did not think he would miss this one, but I do think Kelleher gambled a bit, went down to his right really early because he probably expected Palmer to go that way. And yeah, just so happened that Palmer did go that way. Unfortunately, it's one of those where should he have scored? Absolutely. It is what it is. But then there were more chances at the end of the game. There was a run from Garnacho that was really good and got the ball to the middle. There was a run from Palmer on the left side that was also really good. Got the ball to Enzo right in front of the goalie, and he just toe poked it, and unfortunately Kelleher got to it. And then Neto has his own chance too on that right side where he could have passed to a wide open Tyreek George. He could have passed back to Palmer, but instead he tried to take it on his own, and the defender got a really incredible block on it. Yeah, so we had chances to win this game, to put it to bed, and we just didn't do it. And when you do that, you just risk the other team coming back at the end, and that's exactly what happened. So credit to Brentford, but here's my worry: is we played, apart from Cucurella and James, who, Hato is young. He needs time to get used to the league, clearly. And Fofana, I just don't, he just needs time. Like, he just came back from a long-term injury. He didn't really track his man. He wasn't doing really much on that right-sided. Like, he's not really like an inverting right back, right? He's not a James. He's not a Gusto. He doesn't really play that role. And then he can't really play the role in the center of a three either. So I don't actually know if Fofana has a good place on this team, apart from just being there as backup for if somebody else gets injured, and to play like the less important games, because today he just wasn't really on it. And the biggest issue is, as much as I like Tosin, he is important to start because he's like our only defender who can make passes now. As sad as that is, but man, his pace is shockingly bad. And if teams watch Brentford today, all they have to do is sit back and just hit a long ball and have someone sprint at Tosin. And we are in trouble. And I don't even really have a good solution. It's not like Chalobah can play close to Tosin all the time and cover him. Otherwise, we just leave ourselves with a massive gap wherever Chalobah is supposed to be. So yeah, this is a big problem. This is like a blueprint to beat us, and I am not going to be surprised if teams use this again and again and again this season. So we better come up with a solution. We better come up with it fast because, this was not pretty. Basically, every time Brentford got the ball, I got nervous. Every ball that was hit over the Tosin, I got nervous. So yeah, and if that means Sanchez has to play even higher up to cut out that long ball, maybe so, but you're asking a lot of risk from Sanchez at that point too. Like, he could easily get caught out if he steps up too high. But another shout out is Moises Caicedo. Like, I'm running out of things to say about him. He's incredible every single game. I don't understand the lack of praise for him around the league. Like, he is probably the best DM in the world. I'm fully convinced he's the best DM in the world. I think he's better than Rodri at this point. Rodri had a long-term injury. He's still coming back. He's certainly better than new Arsenal player, Z, whatever, who also scored that ridiculous goal. Zubamendi. Yeah, he's new to the league. He really hasn't had enough time to prove that he's good. He scored one good goal, for Christ's sake. He should not even be in the same conversation as Caicedo. Caicedo, though, playing. I mean, I don't think he's even fully fit. Like, we keep talking about how he's injured, he's in pain. He doesn't really train all that much, and still flying back. Only had like one training session, if that, and to put in that kind of performance, Caicedo, man. Incredible. I think, yeah, I would be shocked if teams aren't trying to get him for a massive, massive fee in the future. So hopefully we can keep on to him, because he is the one person that protects us from leaking way more goals than we already do. And then big shout out. I think Garnacho actually had a really good start. You can tell he's lively. That's why he's passionate. He's lively. He'll make runs in the box. The crosses he made were all really good, into really good positions. And that's something that Gittins just completely failed to do in the first half. Not only did he not beat his man, he would cut inside, lose the ball, take weak shots. Whenever he did cross, it would go to nobody. So, Gittins is young. He needs time. He needs time to, get used to Premier League again, since he's been in Germany for a while. So, yeah, can't really blame him. He's really young. I don't want to give him too much shit. He just needs more game time, but he probably should not be our starter. At this point, I would rather start Garnacho, who has 3 years of experience in the Premier League, over Gittins. So, start Garnacho. And you know what? I have to say, as much as I don't like him as a person, I love his passion. Like, he's a Chelsea player now. When Caicedo scored that goal, I don't think there was anybody on the pitch happier than Garnacho, including Caicedo. He looked like a fan from the crowd had just run to the pitch. He went crazy. So great for him. I think he's going to be good for us. I really do. As long as he can keep his off-field BS and his brother under check, I think he's going to be just fine. And right now, obviously, he still needs to get back to full fitness. He's barely played this season. So I agree. I understand why Maresca isn't starting him. But hopefully sooner than later, he can catch back up, and I think he'll be a really, really good asset to the team. But yeah, overall, just so disappointing. Just so disappointing. We had 3 points. We should have gotten 3 points. We could have just played it safe. And I was just saying earlier in the season how, we're learning how to close out games, how to keep control, and we just did not keep control at the end of this game. We kept pushing. We could have just recycled the game. Just 6 minutes of keep away. Just 6 minutes. That's it. No risk, and we would have been fine. So that's a lesson that really needs to be learned. Like, we cannot be dropping points, especially with, City winning today and Liverpool winning today, Tottenham winning yesterday. All these rivals, Arsenal winning, none of these teams are dropping points to the games that they should be winning, and we should be beating Brentford. So next game, huge game. Bayern Munich, Champions League. This is going to be a real test. I know PSG was probably tired for the Club World Cup. So this is a different situation. This is a Bayern that wants to win. First game in the Champions League. They are still a humongous club. I do think they are very beatable. They have big weaknesses in their game, but they also have Harry Kane, who can make a goal out of absolutely nothing. So yeah, we need to play our game. We need to start all of our best players, and hopefully getting rested for this game means they are all ready to go for that game. So I cannot wait. It's been far too long since we've been in the Champions League. I'm pretty sure we're all going to go to the Chelsea pub and check it out with the family. So super excited. See you guys after that one. Peace.